our next session is actually continuing discussion of EU integration process of Ukraine and Western Balkans. And I really think that actually all participants can contribute to the discussion, and all of you can really tell a lot. So I will have a really brief intro overview, and then I suggest to have a good discussion within this area. We already started to do this, but let's continue. Yeah. So I would like to start from before war time, and how EU enlargement was actually seen by European Commission. So actually, it was Eastern Partnership, which included Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine. And only Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine had association agreement. And let's be true, no one considers that any of these countries will be even candidate to EU soon. At the same time, we had Western Balkans countries and Turkey. So Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Republic of North Macedonia, Kosovo, Montenegro, Serbia. And most of them already received candidate status, and only Bosnia and Herzegovina and Kosovo were potential candidates and are potential candidates. So this was before February 2022, before a Russian invasion. On February 28, actually in 4 days after Russia invaded Ukraine, President Zelensky and the government of Ukraine signed an application for European Union membership, asking for immediate accession. And 3 days later, Georgia and Moldova did the same. And in June, EU leaders decided to grant Ukraine and Moldova the status of candidate country, and while Georgia only received confirmation of their European perspective. And this situation actually really created a lot of discussions and reactions, in particular in Western Balkans countries, and we will discuss why and what happened. But now I would like to show you the picture of real candidacy and chances to be EU member looks like this. So this is something what Mihailo told in previous session, that Eastern Partnership is really something what already not so actual. And the reality is that Ukraine and Moldova has much more in common with Western Balkans countries rather than with the previous countries in Eastern Partnership, with Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, and so on. So this is the reason why we, civil society organizations and partners from Ukraine and Western Balkans should consider EU integration as something what we should work on together. This is a brief explanation how actually EU integration looks like. There is 9 main steps which country and EU Commission do to confirm its membership. I won't now stop on this. You will receive this presentation later on, so let's move. So why actually we heard a lot of reaction on a very fast provision of candidacy to Ukraine and Moldova? Let's be clear, it was more political decision rather than technical. And of course, Western Balkans country also believe they understand why this political decision is was and is very important, because through this decision, European Union really confirms that it stands with Ukraine. But at the same time, we have following situation. So you see the timeline of EU progress of Western Balkans. As you can see, like some countries already almost 20 years ago received candidate status. For example, we have the situation with North Macedonia. We have more than 10 years awaiting in Montenegro, also Albania, Serbia, and no real progress. Actually, if we look through EU reports on the progress, we will see that from 2015, countries really did very, very low progress and opened not a lot of chapters, didn't receive good evaluations, but at the same time, a lot of people who live in Western Balkans, they are disappointed and they started to really question if EU wants Western Balkans to be a part of EU. And of course, this has created very good platform for Russia propaganda, which actually even this fire of disappointment created to make it burn lighter. So this is something what really we have here. So this is about some like overview what was the recent progress. As you see, actually, we have in different countries different progress. I hope that participants from North Macedonia and from Albania can share what's going on and what people now say in their countries, because as you know, these two countries were blocked and despite their reforms and despite their progress, what they did, they couldn't really move further with EU integration. Also, Montenegro is a very interesting case because there is really big progress, but until now we cannot say that Montenegro really moved closer to EU. However, when we look through the situation, when now Ukraine and Moldova receive candidate status, when we have Western Balkans, and when we really see that European Union also started to consider if the enlargement process really should be reformed or it should be continued like it is, or what actually do next. Because I think that for all democratic society now is clear that Europe should be united. Now the question is united in which way, and how to ensure it, and how should it look like. So now we have several different ideas and options which different leaders offer. So I choose here two, but if you know another ideas of further European future, please share. So first one is EU political community, which was suggested by President Macron in May 2022, and actually it was suggested before European Union gave candidacy to Ukraine and Moldova. And I remember that Ukrainians were really worried because of this Macron's statement, because they're afraid that actually candidacy will be not provided. So his idea is, this is his quote, that like I will read: even if tomorrow we granted them the status of candidate for membership of our European Union, we all know perfectly well that process allowing them to join would take several years, in truth probably several decades. And it is the truth to say this unless we decide to lower the standards of this membership and therefore to completely rethink the unity of our Europe. So this is his idea of future, and his suggestion actually to creation EU political community, which will include different European partners meeting together with Europe and working on political dialogue, cooperation, and you see which countries it would include. So Ukraine, Western Balkans, Moldova, but also all partners from Eastern Partnership, beside Belarus, United Kingdom, Turkey, Switzerland, Norway. So these partners should be the partner in this EU political community. Actually, very soon, 6th, 7th October in Prague, there will be first meeting where countries from these political communities should meet. and discuss their perspective. Great Britain, United Kingdom actually was one of the critics for this strategy, and it's very interesting that they agree to participate in Prague, and we'll see actually what will be the result of this meeting. So another idea or scenario which was suggested, it was made by EU President Charles Michel, and also in May 2022, and he was talking about some, let's say, gradual integration. So his statement is that actually the process of enlargement should be somehow reformed, in terms that you shouldn't wait when country will make progress on all chapters and close all requirements, but to provide some benefits to country step by step. So if country did some progress in some area, then this area should be like enhanced and created some better cooperation and accession to European Union, for example, provide funds or to provide other benefits and so on. So this is some idea which was also suggested, and I believe that actually what we were discussing before, single market, is one of these very important area which actually also step with this idea, because economic integration, in my opinion, is one of the most important, because if the economic will start improving, then all reforms will also have better chance to move forward in case of Ukraine, but also Western Balkans. So EU single market is something what actually I think should be really considered by the European Commission. And I was really happy to hear that Ukrainians were suggested to start working on this inclusion to single market. But until now, I didn't see that Western Balkans really are considered also to be the part of the single market. Maybe I missed it. If you know other new information, please share with us. So, as I told you, this is some very brief overview. Now I invite you to start the discussion. So, let's discuss actually, we as civil society organization from Western Balkans and Ukraine, what actually we would like to support, how we see participation of our countries in the European Union, and which model actually of cooperation we would like to have. Okay, I already see hand, Emina.
All right, hello everyone. I actually have a question. I must say I'm not well informed about Ukraine's EU accession actually steps and where it is according to the situation. But I would like to know, I'm eager to know, what is the reason that Ukraine hasn't been granted the candidate status before, since we all know this war hasn't really started now. It has its roots in the Crimea annexation in 2014. And this war has only provoked the possibility of joining the EU by Ukraine. Now, what is the reason it hasn't been granted the status before, taking into consideration the Crimea annexation?
I can try to answer, but actually I don't think that anyone can really have really answer for this, but we can just share opinions. Of course, the official reason is that Ukraine didn't meet criteria of EU and didn't make adequate reforms. So this is, of course, the answer. But as I already said, this is my opinion, European integration is not only technical steps, but political decisions. So on that moment, there was no political will of EU enlargement, and take into consideration what we hear from some EU leaders now, I think that we should really understand that until now, we are not sure if EU ready to accept new members, and if ready, then the question is when. So also another answer is here that on that time, Ukraine already had this territorial like questions. So let's say, but on the other hand, we had Cyprus example, and despite the situation on Cyprus, Cyprus was accepted to EU. So this is something what we should discuss.